What's up, guys? KW175 back with another Pokemon Duel video, and this is going to be categorized as a pro tips and tricks video. Alright, we're going to be breaking down the math, figuring out odds and probabilities. I know for some of you guys it may be obvious, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people out there that aren't really sure where to start. You know, how to plug the numbers in. Hearing us talk about, oh, we had a 25% chance, or, had about a 60% chance of winning that roll. Well, how do we get those numbers? If you really want to get better at the game, you want to be able to win more matches, this is going to be a really good video for you guys to watch if you're not sure how to do this already on your own. So I wanted to throw the figures on the screen that we're going to be talking about. Maybe I can throw some on-screen prompts and maybe put some formulas down in the description, but you might want to get a pencil and some paper and try to write down some of these formulas. You're not going to have to write down these exact numbers, though if you want to, if that helps you, definitely go ahead. But I wanted to start talking about the Draco Meteor. We have White Kyurem up against the Primal Kyogre. So only a 1-star purple on the White Kyurem to be able to hit that Draco Meteor. It has two 16 slices. So how do you figure out the odds of you being able to just land the Draco Meteor? Well, that's simple. If you want to know the odds of landing your attack, you just have to figure out the size of the attack, which is going to be 32, 16 plus 16, 32 obviously. And each wheel is made up of 96. It doesn't matter if it's level 1 or level 10. Each wheel always has 96 segments. So you're just going to do 32 divided by 96, and that's going to give you 0.333, which is 33%. Like 0.3 is 30%. 0.33 is 33%. That's how you write percentages. So that's how you figure out the odds of being able to land an attack. You take your attack size divided by the wheel size. Wheel size is always going to be 96. So then you need to look at the opponent. Well, the only part of the wheel that you're going to be able to win with the Draco Meteor by landing it against the Primal Kyogre is against his Hydro Pump, which is a 38 wheel segment, and then this Pokemon has 10 miss. So that's a total of 48 segments out of 96. So 48 divided by 96 gives you 0.5, which is 50%. So 50% of Primal Kyogre's wheel is going to lose to that Draco Meteor. So then how do you figure out the odds of you landing your Draco Meteor into the portion of Primal Kyogre's wheel that you're going to be able to use that Draco Meteor? Well, you take your 33%, multiply that by the 50%. So the odds of you landing it is multiplied by the odds of the opponent landing the part of the wheel that you need to land. So you take 33% multiplied by 50%, which you would write 0.333 times 0.50, and that's going to go ahead and give you 16.65%, which would read 0.1665. But that, 0.16 is equivalent to 16%. Okay, so this is where it's going to get interesting now. So that's the odds of you being able to land the Draco Meteor against the Primal Kyogre, but you still need to make that Primal Kyogre spin to be able to get it to knock out. And it has to land a miss or its white attack, which again, we know is 50%, because that's the only part of the wheel that Draco Meteor is going to win against. So now you're going to have to take that 16.65% and multiply that again by 50%, because that's the odds of, Primal Kyogre spinning that portion of the wheel. And that's going to give you 8.32%, which on a calculator would read 0.0832. 0.08 is equivalent to 8%. So I hope that all makes sense. Again, rewind it if you guys need to, but let's go ahead and take a look at Solgaleo. Now we know White Kyurem is going to land the Draco Meteor 33% of the time, so you're going to be able to knock out Solgaleo 33% of the time because 100% of its wheel loses to Draco Meteor, 70 plus white attack or miss. So now let's take a look at Lunala, 49 Psychic and a 4 miss segment. So that's 53 out of 96. Do 53 divided by 96, that's going to give you 55% roughly, 55.2%. Now, the odds of you being able to land the Draco Meteor against that Lunala, you would multiply that 55.2% by 33.3%. Okay, so you would write down 0.5520 times 0.333%. Okay, so that's going to give you roughly, if you want to round it up, sometimes I round up 18.4%, which would read 0.18 3.8 or something, rounded up 18.4% that you're going to be able to land that Draco Meteor against the portion of Lunala's wheel, that you're going to be able to win with that roll. But you would still need to, again, make Lunala spin to be able to knock it out. Now, that since this is a chain level 10, Lunala, it needs to be a 70 white attack or higher or a miss. So you would have to, again, take that 18.4%, multiply it by the 55.2%. So that's going to give you roughly about a 10% chance to be able to land Draco Meteor against that Lunala, then make it spin with the Draco Meteor, and the odds of Lunala landing, the portion of the wheel that would knock it out, all in, succession, all within, I guess, one attack or one battle. So you'd have about a 10% chance, to win the battle with the Draco Meteor, then make Lunala spin and also get a knockout with it landing the 70 or the miss. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. Like, it's pretty much the odds of you landing your attack multiplied by the odds of Lunala landing the portion of the wheel that it needs to land, multiplied again by the odds of Lunala landing the same portion of the wheel that it needs to lose to the Draco Meteor. Now, let's take a look at Noivern. So let's just say you have the Noivern and you're going up against this White Kyurem, and you want to know what the odds of you winning with the Boom Burst. Well, the Boom Burst is a size of 36, so that's 36 out of 96. So now you need to figure out which portion of White Kyurem's wheel are you going to win with that. Well, you're going to win against that Fusion Flare and the Miss, which totals up to a 29 out of 96. So you need to do 36 divided by 96. That's going to give you the odds in percentage of Noivern landing the Boom Burst, that portion of its wheel. Then you need to take 29 divided by 96, which gives you the odds of White Kyurem landing the portion of the wheel that it needs to land. Now you multiply those two together, which is going to give you roughly 11.33%. So roughly you're going to be able to knock out White Kyurem with Noivern's Boom Burst about 11% of the time. Now let's say you wanted to figure out what are the odds of White Kyurem being able to knock out Noivern with its Ice Burn attack. Well, you got to take the 35 divided by 96, which is going to give you about, 0.3645, which is 36.45%. So let's just say less than 36.5%. Then 58 out of 96 is the portion of Noivern's wheel between its white and miss that Ice Burn is going to win. Okay, so then you got to take those two percentages and multiply them together, which is going to give you about 22%. So 22% of the time you're going to be able to knock out Noivern with White Kyurem's Ice Burn. So I'm just giving you guys kind of more examples of the same technique, the same formula, just plugging in different numbers and giving you guys some, just visually being able to look at these Pokemon, looking at the wheels. Like if you're in a battle and you're like, hey, I really need to win this attack, this is the portion of my attack or of my wheel that I need to win with against theirs. Now you're going to be able to know how to figure out those odds. So let's make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, this is kind of where it gets exciting, but also kind of confusing. So hopefully I can explain it properly and as thoroughly as possible. Okay, with Mega Blastoise's Turtle Missile, we're going to assume that you've already landed it. Now you're ready to make a figure spin on the field to see if you're going to be able to make it spin a white attack and knock it out. Okay, so the difference between Turtle Missile and Draco Meteor is with this Turtle Missile, you can make a Pokemon spin multiple times. 2, 3, 4 even if you evolve all the way from Squirtle. Every time you evolve, you get an extra spin. So no matter what, you're going to get at least 2 spins. So the difference between what we've been doing and what this kind of entails is probabilities over multiple events, right? And what you need to do is figure out the odds of it not happening if you're going to be doing it multiple times. So if you're just going to make Leo spin one time, all you need to do is take 88 divided by 96. 88, out of 96 of its wheel, it's going to lose to that Turtle Missile, which is 91.66%. But if you're going to be spinning it multiple times, you need to figure out what the odds of it not happening are to do this properly. So you would take 91.66%, subtract that from 1, and that's basically going to give you 0.0833, which is like 8%. Obviously, out of 100%, whatever you have left out of 91.66%. So however many times you plan on spinning, you need to take the odds of it not happening to the power of however many events that you're doing. So if you're spinning it twice, it's going to be to the second power, which is called squared. If you're spinning it 3 times, it's to the third power, which is called cubed. Okay, so you're going to take that 0.0833 to the second power, which is going to give you 0.0069. So then you subtract that from 1, because everything totals 1, 100%. Like, even though a wheel has 96 segments and not 100, it's still 96 out of 96 equals 1, a total of 100%. So you take that 0.0069, subtract that from 1, it's going to give you 99.3%, which you're going to see it on a calculator as 0.9930. So if you're going to make Solgaleo spin 3 times, you take the odds of it not happening, which is 0.0833 is how you would write it, which is like 8.3%. And you're going to put that to the third power, which is like that little upside down V. You can even Google search it. If you don't want to do it on a calculator, you can just Google search it. Again, that's going to give you 0.00057. You subtract that from 1, and that's going to give you 99.94%. So even after 3 spins, if you make Solgaleo spin 3 times with that turtle missile, you still don't have a 100% chance of it landing a white attack. Like, it should, but you know, nothing is going to be 100%, right? So I hope that makes sense. You know, Solgaleo is about 100% as it's going to come, but nothing is going to be 100%. I hope I'm just giving you guys some examples on situations on how to use like a formula and how to plug these numbers in to get the right answer. So let's take a look at Lunala. Now, Lunala only has a 49 psychic, right? Only white attacks, it's going to get knocked out. So let's just assume that psychic is a 53 here in this situation. Like, somebody expanded the psychic to a 53 out of 96, because that's going to give you about a 55.2% chance of Lunala spinning the psychic. So it's a little more than half, 50%. Okay, so if you make it spin once, that's all you need to do. It's just going to be a 55.2% that Lunala is going to spin the psychic. But if you're going to make Lunala spin 2 times, what you need to do is take 100 basically, or 1 minus the 0.5520, and that's going to give you 0.4479. If you know, and if you need to round things up, that's absolutely fine. Doesn't have to be down to the 1000th place, you know, it just has to be relatively close. So if you make it spin 2 times, you're going to put that to the second power, which is going to give you 0.2006. Then you take 1 minus 0.2006, and that's roughly going to give you about a 79.93%. So if you want to round up, say that's about an 80% chance that Lunala is going to spin psychic after spinning twice. If you're going to do it 3 times, it's going to be 0.4479 to the third power, which is going to give you 0.0898. Then you take 1 minus the 0.0898, and that's going to give you about a 91% chance of it spinning psychic. And let's go ahead and do one more, 4 spins. So again, you're going to take that 0.4479 to the 4th power, which is going to give you 0.0402. Now you're going to take 1 minus 0.0402, and that's going to give you 95.97, so almost 96% after making Lunala spin 4 times that you're going to be able to get the knockout. So I hope that makes sense, guys. And it's going to be the same with boosters. Like I said, if you're opening a booster, you know, and we read in the shop all the time, like if, let's just say a Pokemon has a 10% chance of dropping, you know, which it never does, but let's just say it's a 10% chance. There's a 90% chance that we're not going to pull that, right? We're not going to pull that 90% of the time. So you need to take that 90. And if you're opening, you know, 5 boosters, that's going to be 90% to the 5th power. Whatever that gives you, you'll take 1 minus that answer, and that's going to show you the odds of you getting what you're looking for after opening so many boosters. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to try to put some screen prompts. I'm going to try to put the formulas in the description. If you guys need to talk to me down in the comments, that's going to be absolutely fine. I want to make sure you guys understand this stuff. And keep in mind too, like, I'm not a math major. Like, I don't major in probabilities. I don't have a degree in math. This is just, you know, from my understanding on how to do these things, and I think it's important. You know, this is what's going to, I mean, RNG is RNG, but this is what's going to separate really good players and you possibly winning a duel that you may lose if you're picking wrong matchups. If you have 2 Pokemon to pick from, you want to make sure that you're picking the one that has the best odds of winning, and so you can win the game or prevent yourself from losing at the very least. And if any of you guys are math majors and I've got anything wrong, definitely feel free to let me know in the comments as well. I want to make sure that we're all doing this properly. So real quick, let's take a look at Golisopod up against the White Kyurem. So if you want to know the odds of your gold being able to win an attack, right, it's a 51 Aqua Jet. It's a 20 out of 96, which is, almost 21%. And you're going to be able to win 37 out of 96 of White Kyurem's wheel. So you're going to do 20 divided by 96. Then you're going to do 37 divided by 96. Multiply those two together, and it's going to give you about an 8% chance. Same with Flying Blow. Flying Blow is 103. That's a 39 out of 96, which beats 29 out of 96 of White Kyurem's wheel. Multiply those two percentages together. That's going to give you about a 12.27% chance of winning. Now, it also has the Swords Dance. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. You just have to do an extra step. So 33 out of 96. You're going to land the Swords Dance, which is about 34%. Then the odds of you being able to land the Flying Blow after that, you have to do 39 divided by 96 multiplied by the 33 out of 96. So 33 out of 96 is 0.3437. Flying Blow, 39 divided by 96 is 0.4062. Multiply those two together, and you have about a 13.96, a 14% chance of you landing the Swords Dance into the Flying Blow, in this situation giving me a 206 attack, which is going to beat everything but the purple. So what are the odds of us landing the Swords Dance into the Aqua Jet? Well, the 33 divided by 96, then the 20 divided by 96. You take those two percentages, multiply them together, and that's going to give you about a 7.16%. So, and again, you're going to see that it's 0.0716. That's 7.16%. What are the odds of you landing the Swords Dance into the Flying Blow, then being able to knock out the White Kyurem? Well, if you land the Swords Dance into the Flying Blow, it's going to give you a 206. That's going to beat all of its white and miss, which is 64 out of 96 segments. So 64 divided by 96 is going to give you 0.6666. Spooky, right? So then you're going to take your 14%, which would be 0.14, multiplied by 0.6666, and that's going to give you 0.093, which is basically 9.3%. Same with the Aqua Jet. If you want to land the Swords Dance into the Aqua Jet, giving you a 102 gold attack, which is going to beat 61 out of 96 of White Kyurem's wheel. So you're going to take the 0.0716 multiplied by the 0.635. It's going to give you about a 4.5% chance that you'll win with the Aqua Jet. So let's take a look at Sceptile. Okay, this is going to be the final. This is going to be the final example, guys. So I hope that I'm really teaching you guys something here. Put a lot of effort into this video because I think it's important and it's a big portion of Pokemon Duel. So this is also kind of interesting because they both have spinners, right? Sceptile has a 90, but if it spins twice, it's going to be doing 140 damage because it gets a plus 50. So let's assume that it's a level 5 Sceptile. Let's say it's a 48 out of 96. It gives it an exact 50% chance of landing Leaf Blade once, which if you want to find out if it's going to spin it twice, you would just take the 0.5, which is 50%, multiplied by 0.5, 50%. All right, and that's going to give you 25%. So the odds of Flying Blow, Golisopod just hitting its 39 out of 96 Flying Blow, 103 damage, is going to beat a single Leaf Blade. So you do 39 divided by 96, then you're 48 divided by 96. Take those two, multiply them together, 20% of the time, roughly a little bit more, Flying Blow is going to win, like against the single Leaf Blade. Now you could add in the Quick Attack because it would beat that as well, but I'm just looking at the single Leaf Blade. Now, if Sceptile spins a double Leaf Blade, that's a 25% chance for 140. What are the odds that you're going to be able to out damage that with a Swords Dance into the Flying Blow? Well, you take your 33 divided by 96 to hit the Swords Dance, which is 0.3437, multiplied by your Flying Blow right after, which is 39 divided by 96, which is 0.4062. Then what you need to do is multiply those together, then which gives you 14%. Then multiply that by the 25% that Sceptile is going to hit its double Leaf Blade, which is going to give you about a 3.5% chance. So Sceptile definitely has better odds of landing a double Leaf Blade compared to, 25% of the time, where you're only going to be able to beat it about 3.5% of the time if it spins a double Leaf Blade. So I hope that makes sense. So let's take a look at Arcanine and Sceptile. This is an interesting matchup because double Leaf Blade is going to beat the Extreme Speed, but the Extreme Speed is going to beat a single Leaf Blade. The Quick Attack beats the purple. The 80 Flare Blitz beats the Quick Attack. So it's just an interesting matchup, like who has better odds? And Sceptile doesn't have any miss, so that's definitely something important to note. And Sceptile has always been pretty consistent, especially at like level 10s, and same with that double Leaf Blade. But, Arcanine loves to land miss. There's no way to get the miss any smaller. Past level 5, it's going to have a base 8 miss. But there's a lot going on here. And the stealth hit can definitely throw things off because blue wins over everything on Arcanine's wheel. But I just want to show you guys, because I didn't do this for the other one, so maybe this would help. And it would have just been way too difficult to insert this in every other example. But the only thing I want you guys to disregard is at the bottom where it says 48 out of 96 to Leaf Blade. Either does 90 or 140. And then I have it as like a 0.5 for 50%. It's only going to do the 90, the single Leaf Blade, 50% of the time. And it's 25% to spin it twice, which I got it right where the math is up there. If you see LB times 2 is 25%. So I got it right where it was important, but that was the only thing that I messed up. I should have put 90 plus, not 90 through 140. So I want to show you guys. Arcanine is going to win against Sceptile here at the top. If you see where Arcanine is, I have all the wheel sizes and then the percentages. So extreme speed, 44 divided by 96 is 0.458. So it's going to beat half of Sceptile's wheel right away, the 0.5 for the Leaf Blade, because again, we're assuming Sceptile's 48 out of 96 for the Leaf Blade. Then the Quick Attack, which works out to be 0.208. So you got to add those two together. And that, is basically representing the entire part of Sceptile's wheel that loses to the extreme speed. So you multiply those two together, giving you a 32.4% chance that the extreme speed is going to prevail over Sceptile. Then Flare Blitz, which is 25% of Arcanine's wheel, is going to be able to win, or the Flare Blitz is going to be able to win against the Quick Attack. So that's 0.25% times the 0.208. So 5.2% Flare Blitz is going to win against Sceptile. Then we have the 0.208, which is the Searing Shot. The purple wins against half of Sceptile's wheel, giving us a 10.4% chance. So those are all the odds that you're going to be able to win in battle with Arcanine against Sceptile. So Sceptile, looking at Arcanine's wheel now, if Sceptile were to just land a single Leaf Blade, which is basically doing 90 damage, right? And that's 50% of the time, 48 out of 96. So you need to take the portion of Arcanine's wheel that loses to a single Leaf Blade, add those together, right? Then you multiply them together. So 16.6% of the time, Sceptile is going to be able to win with a single Leaf Blade. Okay, so with a double Leaf Blade, you take the 50% multiplied by 50%, which gives you 25%. That's how you figure out the odds of spinning a double Leaf Blade. So it's going to beat everything in Arcanine's wheel except for the Searing Shot. So 1 minus 0.208 is just how I did it, multiplied by the 0.25, 25%, is going to give you 19.8%. That double Leaf Blade is going to win. Then we have the 0.291, which is the stealth portion of the wheel. And that's going to win 100% of the time. So this is where it kind of throws off the total result since the blue prevails over everything. And then you have the Quick Attack, which is 0.208, is going to be able to beat the 0.083, which is the miss of Arcanine. And then the 0.208, which is the Searing Shot. And you're going to be able to win about 6% of the time there. So you guys might be thinking, like, well, how am I really going to use this? Am I going to have time when I'm in the middle of a duel to sit there and crunch numbers between two Pokemon? Well, I mean, you can keep a calculator nearby. I've done it, especially whenever I was like a lot newer to the game, whenever I was starting out. And then there were like websites too, which I don't even remember the name of them, but you could basically match up two Pokemon. I know some of the Discords too, where you can do like a matchup, like Arcanine versus Sceptile, and it'll kind of give you guys odds that way. So this is just a way to know how to do that yourself, and it kind of is important sometimes, like if you're in a battle, like I said, and you have like two Pokemon that you can choose from, which Pokemon's gonna have better odds? I know sometimes it looks obvious, but it's not always obvious. You know, it's not always obvious. And you can do this in your spare time too, looking at some of the most meta Pokemon like Mega Rayquaza. Now we have the Bayonets, you know, Primal Kyogre, Solgaleo, Blaziken, just like, and then you can kind of take a look at your figures and then try to compare them to some of the other figures that you're worried about, that you feel like you lose battles to. It's just kind of a way to study, know how matchups work, and then once you get familiar with Pokemon, you're going to get better at being able to just look at your wheel. They bring out a figure, you're going to be able to look at that wheel and then kind of, you know, tap through all your figures, and you're going to get better at being able to see which Pokemon have better odds. So I felt like this video was really important. I haven't seen anybody cover this. It's gonna be pretty lengthy, but I hope it wasn't for nothing. I hope this is gonna help you guys out and at least help you better understand probabilities and odds. And I was gonna kind of do one for boosters as well, but like it's pretty much the same formula as the Turtle Missile for Mega Blastoise, you know, for figuring out the odds of something not happening, and then to the power of the total number of events that are happening. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you. If you did, definitely leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Follow me on Twitter at KDub175 for further discussions. Hit me up in the comments if you guys have any questions. And until the next one, later guys.